The phrase that often gets thrown around is high-value man. So many people talk about high-value men, but what really is a high-value man? Let's find out, going by high-value man in and of itself. And though it might be harsh treating men like objects, unfortunately, that's how the world works. At their core, humans are a competitive species, and there has always been a hierarchy in our society. Even in the primal days of humanity, the men that were capable of hunting and providing were undoubtedly more valuable than men that were just gatherers or such. The world has always been competitive, and yes, it might be hard to hear that the world is so cold, but people judge each other by a variety of factors, and oftentimes they do so extremely brutally. High-value men understand this. So by definition, the phrase high-value man would refer to men that are of higher importance and worth than normal men. But what differentiates a high-value man from a low-value man? Here are some of the things that differentiate a high-value man from low-value men. Number 1, being successful and being consistent in your success. The most obvious requirement to being a high-value man is, of course, to be successful. Whether by having a successful business, a high-salary job, or by any other means, you have to be successful. You can't be a high-value man that lives in his parents' basement playing video games all day. You have to show yourself as someone that is successful. And it's not just success that's important, it's being consistent with it. Take crypto traders, for example. Sure, one trade might earn them over 50 grand, but again, that's one trade. Who knows what's going to happen in the future? I would gladly prefer getting 5 or 8 grand every month over 50 grand once and never again. Number 2, money. Now, as much as I'd hate to say that a man's worth is in any way a factor of the weight of his wallet, this is how it is. There's a reason a man that makes 6 figures is desired so much. It's because that's how the world is. Money is one of the key factors that separates a high-value man from a low-value man. And although most people would agree that money in and of itself isn't a valid factor, it is undoubtedly important, as without money, you cannot focus on the other factors that are necessary to be a high-value man. For example, dressing sharp. How are you supposed to dress sharply if you cannot even afford to put food on the table? If you're someone who's living paycheck to paycheck, then you won't have the capital left over to invest in yourself. Even the factors I'm going to mention further into the video are near impossible to achieve if you're living in poverty. So, as much as it might hurt to hear this, a high-value man can't be a poor man. Number 3, having a network of and the acceptance of other high-value men. Humans and men in general focus a lot on the concept of brotherhood. Take any group, for example, a group of students, a group of workers, a squad of soldiers, anything. When you are surrounded by similar men, you naturally start to adopt their personalities and traits. And if you're already a high-value man surrounded by high-value men, then you're going to improve even further. And it's no surprise that a man's social worth is decided by the influence he has on others. Having a network of influential people makes you influential yourself. That's why a network is necessary to become a high-value man. Number 4, utility and usefulness. A high-value man, as the name implies, has high value. But what does that mean? Let's focus on the word value. In the world, the value of anything, be it cars, property, or anything else, is decided by the market. And the market works on the concept of supply and demand. If there's a demand for something, then there needs to be a supply of it. If a supply is low, then of course that thing is going to be worth a lot. For a high-value man, he needs to be the type of man that is beneficial to society and other groups. A high-value man is in demand and his presence is felt. Number 5, visibility. Even if you are someone who earns 6 figures or even 7 or more, it won't matter much if your position and income are unknown to others. For example, let's say you meet 2 people. One of them says he's the CDO of an oil company, while the other person says he's a businessman. Which of them would you assume to be a high-value man? That's why it's necessary to make your worth visible to the world. Now, that doesn't mean you have to go around the street telling random people that you're worth millions. No, that's not what I mean. Just make sure that your position and worth are clearly visible to others. Number 6, individuality. As much as this, I hate to use this word because of the negative and childish connotations attached to it. A high-value man is like an alpha of a group. He is separated from the pack. A high-value man is a leader, not a follower. Now, that doesn't always mean that you should stay away from anything in which you aren't in the position of a leader. No, that's near impossible to do. If you're starting from scratch, you will inevitably have to work for others, but even in those situations, a high-value man retains his individuality. The individuality of a high-value man is noticeable to others and cannot be taken away. These are some of the core things that separate a high-value man from a low-value man. Now, I don't mean to imply that these are the de facto traits of a high-value man. Instead, these are just some of the features that I believe to be of a high-value man. Naturally, there might be even more features to some or even less to others. But if you're a man looking to move away from your current life and become a high-value man, you can't go wrong with these. If you're interested in knowing more, be sure to hit subscribe. Like the video too, as it can help the video reach more men looking for a purpose and direction in life.